Hi everyone. First of all, I want to say thanks to everyone watching my videos. I have like 3 videos. I went up to like 1K views in a span of a month, so I appreciate that very much. And I've been trying to get back to most of the comments recently, and I know some people have messaged me and wanted to know how I pre-grade my cards, so this will be that video. Um, so as you can see, I have everything laid out here. I'll tell you why I use all of these items, and in the end I'll give a demonstration to this card and tell you why I would grade this or why I wouldn't grade this using some of these items here. Um, but yeah, like little story about how I got into grading. I got into grading kind of during the pandemic. If you're not familiar with grading at PSA, read their website first to understand the basics, and then this one will be like a more advanced tutorial of how you grade, how I personally grade. Like I don't recommend this for everyone because some people might not do it this way, but this is how I generally try to grade. So yeah, use this video as an example of what to do and what not to do, but definitely make your own. There's like a different formula to everyone and how they grade, so definitely, yeah, use this as a recommendation or not, it's up to you, but I'm telling you how I grade my cards right now. So first of all, I'm just gonna go left to right and then to bottom. um, I think the first easy thing you have to do is have a clean workspace. Make sure you vacuumed, there's like no lint lying around. And I'm actually use a fresh playmat. I have a bunch of these playmats that I put it away if I'm not using it, but then I'm not constantly like using this as a mouse pad for my computer or anything. So this I know is clean. But if it's not clean, then I always have a lint roller and try to lift off all of the lint on the playmat, because the dust, because normally you can't see the dust, so it's just good to be extra safe because there's dust and all these things flying around you, and when you do sleeve your cards to put to grading, then you don't want anything that's hard or anything like any breadcrumbs or anything inside of your sleeve when you submit it for grading. So yeah, number one, just keep, I think for grading you have to try to keep it as perfect as possible. As soon as you get like a new card or open in a pack or something, sleeve it away really fast. That is essential to grading. Like if you buy someone's collection, I would say don't get your hopes up that everything will be a PSA 10. It's gonna be a 9 no matter what the person says. That's like something you really have to examine with your own eyes. Like, but it's a little hard because you're not gonna have all these tools to use when you're buying someone's collection. So that's why you kind of have to like, you have to assume everything is near mint or below before you consider it mint. That's just one piece of advice if you're buying new collections or something like that. I actually forgot one thing. Let me get that out. I'm gonna leave this on the table too. This is actually optional, but I'll tell you what my reasoning is later. So yeah, going left to right, lint roller, very important just for your space, clean, keep it nice. Another big thing to do is wash your hands, get rid of all the oils, use soap. I don't have OCD or anything, but then before I do a pre-grading session, I always wash my hands. Like you don't want any oil or anything you touch to screw up your grade, because that's actually harder to rub off, like oil and whatever else. Crumbs, I mean like solid things you can actually try to nick off, but sometimes the liquids will make a mark and it's very hard to get off. Like you might scratch the card when you're doing something like trying to fix that card or like trying to clean it. So that, yeah, it brings me to my next point. Microfiber cloth. Have a small one. There's gonna be times when there's gonna be the card and it's gonna, I mean this one looks nice, right? But then sometimes you're gonna notice little bumps, or like if it's a vintage card, it might have like some black dots. Some, it's kind of like, I'm not saying it's mold, but then it's like, oh, people were shuffling their cards before without using sleeves, and it's actually the your kind of like the humidity from your hand that makes those black dots and whatever else. that kind of dirt. But if you see like small spots where you can actually just get it off, use a microfiber. Don't use your nail. Like never use your nail. The nail is the worst. Yeah. So microfiber cloth is the first thing. Like you just gently try to take it off by squeezing it. Just squeeze it and then like lightly and then just pull off. It brings me to my next point. If you can't get that little piece of dirt or speck off, like don't ever use a towel and go just brush through all the cards, because it'll ruin the corners or it'll do something bad. Never use a towel. Use a small microfiber cloth. Your next thing you can do to kind of clean your card is using a Q-tip. The thing is, you don't want the Q-tip to be too dry, because it might actually abrade your card if it's too dry. You want to gently just put some water on it and then get like a damp towel and take the excess water off of it. So it's a little damp, that's what you want. And then you can just like see one spot and then you can gently try to get it off. I usually don't try to push too hard, but I just do it a little bit faster to get whatever is on that card off. It makes a huge difference, and I think I've bumped my 9s to a 10 many times just by doing that technique. But you really have to be very skillful in how you take that little piece of dirt off. And the reason why I say like if there's excess water on it, like if you run it through the sink and you want to take the excess water off, don't use a paper napkin or like a toilet paper or anything, because that actually has lint on it and it'll rub off, like it'll kind of like rub off when you're on the Q-tip. So use like some towel to take that excess water off, and then you should be good to go to just kind of like rub the card, the dirt off the card, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's like only if you find some dirt on it and you want to try to rub it off. I would say use these two techniques. Use the microfiber cloth first. Now, two essential things you really need when you're grading your cards, I would say, is you need light. How you want to do the light is up to you. You can use sunlight and see, like you have to kind of like let it reflect to your eye and make sure there's no scratches, no anything like say this, right? The window's over there. I'll try to go like this just to see if there's anything right off the bat. And sometimes you might find scratches, like see here, like you can actually even see it on the screen. This is like not a PSA 10. And that's why I'm using this as an example. There's a little scratch on it already. This is probably caused by like two cards if they're rubbing it together, but there was like a little breadcrumb or something else, and someone was like rapidly shuffling their cards. They caused this little scratch here. You can see it. But generally the light will tell you where the scratches are. You have to look in all four corners and the middle and make sure you don't miss any of that. But you have to be kind of familiar with the art too and make sure it's not like the art, because sometimes that has tricked me before. Yeah, so use the light. If you don't have sunlight, or if it's like night, I have two other tools that would help. The first one is a magnifying glass, but this thing is actually really cool. It's a ring light too. It's really, really nice. I can just do a demonstration right now, but I'll save that for later. You can open this up and put it as a stand. It's kind of like a microscope, and then turn on the light. So this is really useful, and it's battery powered. You can, like, I don't have a battery in it right now, but I'll turn on the light later to let you see. Doing this with a combination of this is like, not many people have this. I think most people should buy one though. This is a black light. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it on really quick. It's a black light, and it will tell you exactly what's going on with your card. Like if there's usually if there's a scratch on the back, there's gonna be some whitening. There's gonna be some white scratches for sure when you reveal it through a black light. This is really, really useful. I think some other YouTubers do this too, like Leonhardt, whenever he grades these things. Yeah, blacklight it's a blacklight pen. This thing, I bought it, I still haven't replaced the battery. It's actually really, really great. Just have this nearby in like a little drawer or something whenever you're grading your cards. But I actually run it through the ring light first, and then while I'm looking through the magnifying glass, I'll use this. and look at the card under it. Yeah, this will show you where the surface scratches are or any surface defects are, so definitely recommend these. So as for the grading part, the pre-grading part of it, I think this is this will come next. It's a very useful thing. You can buy this for less than $10. I think you can buy it on eBay. The centering tool. All you have to do is put it over your card. Put a sleeve over the card. I'm just letting you know right now. Without the sleeve, but put the sleeve over the card and then put the centering tool over it, and you'll see exactly. You have to try to line up that card's edges, and then you can see how far off it is with the dotted lines, the solid lines. This one is definitely not centered. You see that you can kind of look through a glance, but if you're grading things trying to be pinpoint accurate and trying to get the 10s reliably, this is one thing you must do. PSA is a little bit better with centering, but BGS and CGC are very, very tough with centering, with both the front and the back. PSA can have like a really bad back, and like maybe like a 60-40, and that'll still get a 10. So PSA, that's why there's more 10s. Like that's why everyone says PSA pumps out 10s. It's good for you. It might not be best for the collector if they want like BGS 10 levels, but most people want PSA 10s and they do it correctly. So yeah. If you're doing robo grading, it's gonna be very hard for you to get a 10 too, because it's all machine learning and AI that determines where the centering, how centered your card is. So yeah, this is not a good example, but use this tool. Keep it clean. I use this little bag that it came in. It's pretty great. But you can definitely judge when you're grading. You can judge how centered it is by looking at this side and this side. You kind of have to squeeze that and see if this matches with this, and same with bottom. A lot of the cards, sometimes they look very centered, but they're actually slightly crooked. Those will get 9s. Rarely do they get 10s, but they do get 10s sometimes too, because PSA is very nice with it. Now, after you did all of these steps, you graded your card. How are you gonna send it to PSA? First of all, read the PSA website on submission. That I'm not going to teach you how to do right now, but for storage, safe storage of the cards until you send it to PSA, I'll teach you that right now. One thing like that I do, okay, now I always put the card into the sleeve, and then this is up for debate, right? But then I slip the card inside. But then most of the time I will put a little slip on the back of the sleeve and put it in the card saver. Many people think that this won't help you, but to me it does help, because sometimes you're gonna have hundreds and hundreds of cards and you're gonna just have them all into your card savers, and sometimes you're like, oh, out of these 1,000 cards I only want to submit 200 on 300 or whatever. Then you can just take your card out with the slip, with this little sticker, easily, without having to like kind of fidget and open it and then take your card out, because sometimes there's actually a chance to bend your card when you're trying to take it out from the card saver. So you want to minimize that impact as little as you can, or as much as you can, and then be able to kind of like really move your cards. But yeah, so what I do is put in the penny sleeve, put it with the post-it note, and then I'll put it in my card saver. The card savers are great, right? They're the recommended way that PSA will take your cards, and I think they actually destroy all of them later and then just recycle them. But a lot of people don't like using these because it's useless. There's the people who think that the grader's gonna take the card out with their hand, and then like pull on that slip just so like it kind of helps them, but it's actually untrue. PSA actually just like I don't know this for a fact, but once you send in your card inside a card saver, they actually don't take it out. They use a scissor and they cut through it, and then they take it out. So they're not actually like gonna touch your cards until like they have like a very big opening to take your card out of it. So I've heard that they use scissors. So this would be kind of useless, but for me, I still think it's better. I'll just show you a little grading submission I have right now. Yeah, like all of them are just in these it has a little slip attached to the back, so I can easily just, not that I really need to, I'll just take it out like this. And then when I put it back in, you have to be very delicate, and yeah, just like that. But this is one of the submissions I'm putting in later. Yeah, so that's why I like these. You don't have to get them, they're very optional, but card savers are a must, and penny sleeves are a must. One thing I wanted to also show was that these are 3 items I would not recommend for grading. There's a lot of reasons for it, and it's just because you want your card to be kind of like in these soft sleeves, and not squished together. Sometimes a perfect fits, it is a perfect fit, it actually works really well, but what if you're like, your space is dirty or something, you have old perfect fits or something, and you want to put your card in. Sometimes dirt or dust might just get stuck in there, and it'll kind of ruin your card a little bit. So always use penny sleeves because they're just softer. They work in the card saver better too. They prevent the card from kind of like slipping too much during transport and everything. Yeah, I only recommend penny sleeves. These are like an off-brand. I got like a whole case back in the day when the penny sleeves were really expensive. They went up, they're supposed to be penny sleeves, right? They're like $100 for $1, but they went up to $2 to $3 for a long time. So I got like a whole case of these for like maybe 50 cents a piece. So it's this is what I've been using forever. I don't need the Ultra Pro ones. So Ultra Pro is good, but then it doesn't really matter, but it has to be penny sleeves that aren't perfect fits. These are like great for playing with your cards and stuff, but it's kind of like a double protection. You put a perfect fit in your card and you put it into another sleeve, just so like, if you spill water on your sleeve or your deck or something, then it wouldn't get completely like wet. So don't use these. Second one is the hard sleeves that, like, there could be different brands, Ultra Pros, Dragon Shields, whatever. This is the one that comes in the ETP. Don't use these as well unless like you really can't have anything else. These are just hard sleeves, they're matted. There could be, I mean, they're made in China too, so it's like sometimes like, I'm not sure. Sometimes I've gotten these and they're like really damaged, or like it just wasn't a good spec for the sleeve. It was like, it didn't match or something like that. But don't use these for submitting for grading, only use these. The next thing, some people do this, they use top loaders, which are great for shipping, great for keeping your collection from kind of getting damaged. But I would not put your cards in these because they're not like semi-rigid. Semi-rigids keep your card in place. Ultra Pro, you have to like put a tape over each one just so the card doesn't move. Like, it's mainly like, storing it is fine, right? But in shipment, your freaking package is shaking. You don't want your card to come out of the sleeve and get even damaged. And sometimes people don't put tape over it, or they do, like they do put tape over it, and then it sticks. Like, you don't want the glue to like the tape to stick to the card or anything. Yeah, don't use top loaders because they will keep slipping and everything, because you don't know what direction it's gonna go when it's shipping. So yeah, these items don't use. Only use these. Another thing you have to have in your arsenal if you're first kind of starting a grade is just bubble wrap. Bubble wrap is really good for big submissions. Bubble wrap will keep your package from shaking even more when you're submitting them. Like, I used to have to submit, like, use the old PSA boxes, right? You want to use those because the slab is like roughly the same size of a card saver, a little bit bigger, but then that's nice to have and keep, so you can just bubble wrap it and return it. Like, I've often used PSA boxes that I received from graded cards coming back, I usually use those for shipping it back to them for grading too. So keep those, recycle, like save the environment. It's something that, like, plastics take so long to age. You have to recycle them. I think PSA even recycles all, like, they get billions of these like every day, so they have to find a good way to recycle, and that's why I think they partner with Cardboard Gold and everything. Another piece of advice is that I would only use these. Card Saver ones are big. There's Card Saver 2s, which are a little smaller. Those I don't like because it takes too much effort to put it in the slip, like put your card into the slip. Like, just don't use it. Yeah, I think in all, actually I'll show you a demonstration first. I'll just put everything away. I'll just show you a demonstration of the ring light I have. It's actually really nice. You can get this off Amazon for like $15. It's really cheap. It's USB activated too, so you can just plug this in and open it up, and then it becomes like a little microscope. And then there's like 2 light settings. So even with my camera, yeah, you can see that there's a lot of magnification. You can see, like, you want to just see like where it shines and where there's scratches. You can easily see that scratch in the middle here. For extra, you would put the light through, and then you would actually you can mix in some black light with it too. The black light's mainly useful for the blue side. Blue side here, you see a lot more. But yeah, this is how I usually grade my cards. I'm like going through all of them, and I have a fresh pack of sleeves here. Like never use old sleeves. Only use new sleeves for your grading submission. Card savers, I mean, I usually have a fresh batch too, but I have some of these from my old submission, so I'm gonna just like use these until I run out. But only use new things. It's really important. It's worth the $15 or $19 that you paid, or $50 that you paid, to double the value of your cards. Yeah. So this thing is great. $15 off Amazon. It's a really good investment. The blacklight pen, I think, was a little bit more expensive, but definitely, like, yeah, I can even take this on the go and go to some shows, put some batteries in, and like use this and like check out like what's going on with these cards I'm buying or whatever. So definitely really great accessories for your desk. If you have any questions, just comment. I like reading all the comments, and if you guys do something differently, also let me know too. We can just share some ideas. But yeah, it's like, grading's fun because you get to double the value of your cards, and you get everything into like a big, you can put everything in a collection, and it'll be just really safe. So yeah, other than that, I'm not endorsing any of these products or anything. It's just what I use. Definitely, like, yeah, don't use these. Have a lint roller, have a Q-tip and microfiber, like, yeah. Thank you very much. And actually, if you want to see my personal collection, just leave a comment, and then I'll show you what I have in my personal collection too. I'm mainly a Charizard collector, but I have like Blastoises, Venusaurs. I recently started collecting Lugias too. I have a Pikachu collection too, but it's like not huge, but it's still pretty nice. Yeah. Thank you all, and see you next time.